Hi everyone. There are a couple common questions after today's class or practice working on the worksheet, and we didn't get to answer all of them. So I'm just going to do a couple real quick that might be helpful when you're working on the worksheet by yourself. Yeah. So a couple of the common questions were about the questions on the backside or the second page at the bottom of the page for the worksheet, and then also a lot of people ask questions about finding trig values for angles that aren't on our unit circle. So one of the examples was if we're looking for the cosine of 7 pi over 3. So here's my rough unit circle. 7 pi over 3 is actually, we can rewrite this, yes? We can rewrite this as 6 pi over 3 plus 1 pi over 3, right? So 6 pi over 3 is really just 2 pi, which is just one rotation. So I'm really going one rotation around plus a leftover 1 pi over 3, which is just going to be at our pi over 3 from before. So the nice thing about the unit circle is it represents a periodic function or like a cyclical function. So you can keep going around, you're going to keep landing on the same values, just different multiples of them. So this point right here was 1/2 comma root 3 over 2. So if you're looking for cosine of 7 pi over 3, it's just 1/2. It's going to be the same cosine value as normal pi over 3. Same as when one of them was like, what's the cotangent or what's the something of 24 pi over 8. So let's just do sine of 24 pi over 8. 24 pi over 8 is just 3 pi. So 3 pi is an odd number pi, so it's like I'm going 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. And I'm back at where my normal 1 pi is. And this point is -1, 0. So my sine at 3 pi is just 0. Okay, and then the other thing that people had common questions about were the ones kind of like lower on the page. And so those are not really on the unit circle, but using the same what's called coordinate trigonometry. So let's say I want to find, I think this is 4b. If I have cosine of theta equals 4/5, and I'm in quadrant 4. The reason why that's important is cosine equals 4/5. It could be that in two different quadrants. If cosine's positive, that could be either in the first or the fourth quadrant, right? Where x is positive is all this stuff over here. Where y is positive is all this stuff up here, right? But that's multiple quadrants. Our hypotenuse is our denominator, right? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse is always going to be positive because it is the sum of two things squared and then square root, and that's always going to be positive. When you take the square root of a positive number, it's positive. So here we have cosine of theta is 4/5, and we're in Q4, we're in the fourth quadrant. So I know, if here's my XY plane, it's not a very good color. My triangle has to be down here in the fourth quadrant, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my angle right here. We're still going to be starting, our base angle is still going to be, or base initial side is still going to be the positive x-axis, and we're still going to have our theta coming out of the origin. And so this 4 goes here, that's my adjacent side. My hypotenuse is right there. What does this third side have to be? Well, I know it has to be 3. It's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, if I didn't remember that, or I didn't believe myself. I could do Pythagorean theorem and solve for it. It comes out to be 3. But now, instead of just figuring out what the sides of the triangle value-wise have to be, what their magnitude is, I have to take into consideration that we're in the 4th quadrant. So this has to be a negative 3. We're going down. So that means that my sine of my theta has to be negative 3/5. And then tangent of theta is negative 3 over 4, opposite over adjacent. We'll do secant of theta is the reciprocal of cosine, so that's going to be 5/4. Cosecant of theta, reciprocal of sine, is going to be negative 5/3. And then cotangent of theta is the reciprocal of tan, or negative 4/3. And those are my other 5 trigonometric functions if cosine of theta is 4/5 and we're in the 4th quadrant. Thanks. Cool. Fun times. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm going to try to make a solutions sheet, take a picture of it, and put it as a PDF. Hopefully that'll be there soon and you can reference it while you're getting ready for the practice quiz on Monday. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, like, swipe up,